everybody. You're listening to the If It Was a Book podcast, the show that takes real life stories and rewrites them into what would happen if it was a book. For people who love reading, writing, pop culture, and general ADHD chaos. Today, I am joined by author Maya Ameyaw. Thank you so much for being here.
No problem. I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
You are a writing instructor for the Inkwell writing workshops and the author of 2 YA novels. Can you tell me a little bit about the Inkwell writing workshops?
Yes, so we're a community arts workshop where people who maybe have never written anything in their life in terms of writing stories or poetry, they can come out to our workshops and have a fun time. And we do some writing anthologies as well, where people can have their work published for the first time, possibly. And yeah, it's a really fun place where even if you're just like, well, I don't know if writing's for me, just checking it out, and we get a lot of great work out of that. So it's really fun.
That's so cool. And can anyone sign up? Like how do people get in your workshop?
So you can check out our website, which is inkwellworkshops.com. We have online workshops right now currently. Sometimes we partner with different organizations. So currently we're partnered with CAMH, which is a Toronto mental health service. So right now our services are for people who identify with having mental health or addiction issues.
Great. And then for your 2 YA novels, can you give me your elevator pitches for When It All Syncs Up and Under All the Lights?
For sure. So When It All Syncs Up and Under All the Lights, they are companion novels. The first one takes the point of view of a Black ballerina who has been struggling within the ballet industry and not getting a lot of roles because of racism within the industry. And she decides to switch to a more community-oriented school and reconnect with her best friend who used to be her ballet partner. And at this new school, she meets this really cute musician named Ollie. In his book, Under All the Lights, one of his songs he posts on YouTube goes viral, and he becomes a worldwide sensation. And he has really bad anxiety, and kind of dealing with that is kind of the majority of the book.
Yeah, we love to see it. I also have really bad anxiety, so I will relate to him.
I mean, people really love him. I'm going to show you guys a copy because this is a special edition, and it has music notes on the side. Kind of cute.
So this podcast is a little bit different from most, where we actually give listeners a little peek into your writing and brainstorming style by taking a real story and rewriting it into what would happen if it was a book. So Maya, you have a Reddit story that you would like to share with us that you want to reimagine. Is that correct?
Yes, and
Okay.
funnily enough, I've been really getting into am I the Apple stories on Reddit and
Me too.
podcasts about them as well. I listen to the Smosh one a lot. And so this was just when I saw this, I was like, oh, I would love to do something like this. This sounds really, really fun. I don't know. I just find it really, because it's hard to know. Some of them are true. I guess some of them aren't true, but it's still kind of fun, some of these situations. But yeah, so I was kind of just perusing. I think it was the relationship Smosh one, and I saw this one. Or the relationship Am I the Asshole one. Okay, I'll let you read it because I don't have it on hand right now.
That's okay. So this is from r/Am I the Asshole, and it's from Throw RAGF Witch. So it says, Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend that she is not a witch? And it says, I, 6M, think my girlfriend, 24F, got bored during lockdown last year and has gained an obsession with witchcraft. She keeps saying that she's a witch, and she has filled our house with herbs, candles, crystals, rune sets, and weird trinkets. They did not use the Oxford comma, and that bothers me. Anyways, at first, I didn't care because I thought it'd be a temporary thing, but I was very wrong. She gets up at 3 a.m. just to do rituals and spells or whatever it is witches do. My girlfriend burns so much incense that it gives me a headache and makes our house smell strange. I hate it. She also tries to make me drink random herbal teas that taste like shit. I really was trying to be supportive, but it's starting to frustrate me. A few hours ago, I came home from work. As soon as she saw me, she told me that she senses bad energy and started spraying some mist thing, on and around me. So I may have snapped and told her that she was acting crazy and she needs to let this witch thing go because she is not, and it won't let me read anymore. So I assume is not a witch, or just stopped at is not. Okay. It's an archive post. And the people have decided that he is not the a-hole. I don't know how I feel about that. But how do you feel about that?
I think people are saying that because she was spraying him with stuff and maybe feeding him teas that were not great tasting. But you know what? From personal experience, my mom really loves herbal teas. Mm-hmm. And she really loves giving me ones that taste horrible if I'm sick. And it does seem like I'm being poisoned, right? But usually I feel a lot better, honestly, even though she gives me these disgusting tasting teas. I think that he is the asshole and he doesn't know what's good for him, actually.
I agree. I think that you can explore a new religion and that doesn't make you a bad person
Yeah.
or like faking it. But oh well, how did you want to write a story around this? What would you like to do?
Okay. So I was thinking about it and I do have some like general ideas. I feel like when she said she sensed some bad energy around him, she was right. And
Absolutely.
he rebuffed her help. And after he's like, okay, well, you're a fake wish. They break up and then horrible things start happening to him. And then he's like, wait,
Yes, her good energy was keeping him safe.
yeah. So I thought that might be fun of like, he's like trying to pretend like, oh, wait, this must all be a coincidence because he's like a skeptic type of person. But then
Mhm.
increasingly, like, maybe just like things falling or like maybe he trips, gets into like minor accidents and it starts like ramping up. And then he's like, wait, I think I have to go back to her and get help because I don't know what to do.
I adore this. I think that's a great idea. So are we going from his point of view? Or is he like our main character, him and his chaos?
I think probably, yeah, from his point of view, like
Okay.
we might start with like their breakup, like not right at the beginning. Like I'm thinking that maybe he visits her family and it's like the first time meeting them. And then that's when he's getting a sense of like, these people are weirdos. Like, what's going on? And then it ramps up to like her being like, oh, there's bad energy. I need to like cleanse you. And he's like, no, this is enough. And then we go from there of like in the intro part where like he keeps like falling downstairs. I don't know.
I like that a lot. Do you think that she hexed him, or do you think that he already had some sort of something going on and then she like was trying to fix it and he was disbelieving?
I'm a little bit unsure about that because I was thinking, oh, maybe she does hex him, but like not on purpose. And she doesn't really realize her power. Maybe she's just having negative feelings
Right.
toward him because of him like putting down her witch powers. And then she like unconsciously hexed him, or there was something else going on with him before that. So I don't know. What do you think?
Love a subconscious hex, especially because it says that she's like still like learning, she's just starting out. It sounds like you were saying that her family is also witches. And so
Yeah.
I like that in that like she's coming into her powers. She's like so like when they started dating, she was not a full witch yet. And
Yeah.
now she's like starting to practice, starting to understand and starting to learn. I think that maybe he's been doing some stuff that's been bothering her. And so like subconsciously she has been putting some bad news on him, and then she sees it and is like, "Oh, well, we need to deal with that." Or maybe even her family, someone in her family could have hexed him when he was being like judgy
Mhm.
at the and so then she sees it and is like, "Okay, we've got to cleanse you," and he breaks up with her. And so then it's just like getting bigger and bigger.
I think that if that's the case of someone in her family, it'd be like powerful witch grandma hex that is happening. And maybe she like goes to her mom for advice and like, oh, I don't know what's going on with my ex. And then like she doesn't even imagine that like sweet old grandma would do such a thing.
I love that. I love Granny here with the vengeance.
Yeah.
That's so fun. I think it would also be really funny if she goes to her grandmother to ask and be like, "Hey, what should I do? Like it feels like he's been cursed." And she's like, "That's crazy, man." And just like gaslights her into
Yeah, that would be pretty funny too. Okay.
just like if he would just behave, that wouldn't have happened. And I think that that could be like a funny ending scene where grandma admits to having hexed him because he's kind of the worst. I like that. I don't think they should end up together.
They shouldn't end up together? Okay. I'm thinking for the
Mhm.
hex, like maybe it was started with the grandma, but like her energy was unconsciously going into like making it worse and she didn't know as well. Might be a
Mhm.
thing. But yeah, maybe they don't end up together. But he kind of like the main guy, he had some realizations about like, oh well, like why am I so closed off to magic and being open and like why am I so like such a pessimist? And then him kind
Yeah.
of like him opening himself up even if they don't end up together. Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot because I think that she should end up with somebody who, because it sounds like he's not meant to live with a witch because like the incense burns his head, he gives him
Hmm.
headaches. Like I just don't think would enjoy it, even if he is like accepting of what's going on. I just don't think that. I don't think he would like it. I don't think he should live with her, and I think that like they would both resent each other. I feel like he was probably like leaving socks and like being just a man who was
Yeah,
living with her, and it was horrible.
for
So
sure.
that's why she was like putting bad vibes on him unconsciously. Granny sees the seedlings of bad vibes and is like, "Well, he sucks. We're hexing him." And hexes him. And now we must not only get big granny curse off of him, we must also get the little seedling curses that she set
Yes.
unconsciously on him. So I think that it should be in a very it's Halloween time. I'm thinking about Halloween Town. And in Halloween Town, you have to like gather items in order to do spells. And I think that would be fun, where they have to go on sort of an adventure to get like Eye of Newt and like a tear of something and all of these
Okay.
things that they need to do the spell. What do you think?
I love that. I was thinking there might be some type of like text MacGuffin, but I think
Okay.
collecting these things for like a spell could work too. So I like that.
Well, we can do either. This is our playground. We can do whatever we want. What would you like to do?
Kind of like a little treasure hunt of like, okay, this is what we need for this specific spell might be fun. And there's like maybe some like little moral lesson attached to each thing that they get that like helps this guy kind of realize more about how he is being so closed off and like helps him open up along the way.
Yeah, I like that. I think that at least one of the trials, and I'm really thinking about it as more of a middle grade book, which is not helpful because they were living together, so it's definitely not middle grade. But to sort of have to like help someone who like either is a witch or is someone that he like doesn't agree with, in order to be like, oh, like my way of thinking is not the only way of thinking, and I need
Yeah.
to learn that lesson, which is the whole book, but like also these like little ones where he has to like, before learning the big lesson, has to learn little lessons.
I think that's
Because
good.
otherwise it's like I just have to accept my ex and her family, not like I
Mm,
need to be open-minded in general.
exactly. And like maybe some of the clues will lead them back to like different people in his life and them being like, yeah, well, you treated me
Ooh.
the same way as you treated your ex-girlfriend and like the unresolved stuff in that sense too.
I love that. Yeah, let's make all of the little things we have to collect like very Ghost of Christmas Past. Like he has to see how he has wronged people in the past. And so maybe a lot of the seeds are not our main girl, the ex-girlfriend. They're like other people that he has wronged in the past. And so he has
Yeah.
to like
Oh, that's fun.
get
Okay. Yeah,
something to
I'm excited
cleanse
for that.
each one. So he needs to like go back. I like that a lot. Oh my God.
Okay. Should we think of like some of the people or like do you
Mhm.
think it could be like other ex-girlfriends or like other friends or like family members? I don't know. What do you think?
I think it should be all of those. I guess we can start more recent, and then like as each one is cleansed, he starts to feel better and better, but then we keep going farther and farther back to like some of the I'm using a lot of plant analogies here where it's like seeds and they've taken root and
Okay.
like, but like some of the biggest curses on him are ones that happened a long time ago and have really like taken hold on his soul or whatever we're putting the curses on. So I think we should start recent. So something like maybe he had a fight with his mom or with a family
Mm,
member,
yeah.
and there's still love there no matter what because they are family, but they were wronged by him. And so there's some.
I was gonna think I was thinking it was gonna be some, yeah, traumatic moment with family when he was young, and then maybe he kind of lost faith in one of his parents, and then that's kind of, like,
Mhm.
contributed to his cynical mindset.
Yes. Okay. I like that a lot. So I'm changing what in my mind, what was happening was that like he was apologizing to other people, which can still be happening, but I think I like what you're saying more, where he's more reckoning with like each time he lost faith in other people or like made the conscious choice to not believe or what have you. And so he's also like kind of forgiving himself and making those new connections. I'm not saying it well, but I like
No,
what's
no.
happening.
No, no, you are saying it well. Yeah, we're just this is all just, like, off top of our heads. So, yeah, I feel like, there could be I think it's gonna be something with his mom, um,
Mhm.
where he had some type of, argument with her, like, maybe she's a little bit witchy in a way, and she would always like tell him stories of like, oh, this is going to happen or like that's going to happen for you. And then maybe she passed away or maybe she just happened to abandon him and then he was left with his dad. And then he kind of like
Ooh.
lost his ability to like believe in magic when that happened.
Yeah. I think this is a good like climax, like a culmination
Yeah.
kind of situation. So that one later in the book for sure, but I do like that. I think I like what you said about her passing, not to kill his mom, but I like the idea of her passing away because I think that she'll have said something or continued to say something throughout his childhood being like, "I'll always be there for you, like you can always come
Yeah.
to me," all of these things, and then she unfortunately passes away, and so he can't go to her and he's like, "People always lie. People are always
Mm.
just fibbing at me," even though of course that's not what was happening with his mom, but he kind of resents her for passing away in that way.
Yeah, I think there's that, and then, like, the fact that, like, before his mom passed away, she was, like, trying to get him to believe in the magical and
Mhm.
be open-minded in that way, and then when she died, that totally shut that down for him, and he was just, like, not into that at all, and, like, it made him kind of mad when people would bring it up.
Yeah, and his dad was very like, "Get these nonsensical ideas out of your head, like, stop making up stories," all of those things. So sad. Emo times. Okay, so I like that. What are some little things where he's lost some joy and magic in his life that, like, have happened later since his mom passed, if we're working our way backwards to the big moment being that one?
I think maybe he wanted to have a more creative career and kind of went with something that wasn't as creative.
Oh,
So, like, yeah, I don't
yeah.
know, just, like, maybe he wanted to be, like, an artist, when he was young, because his mom was into that too and, like, taught him how
Mhm.
to, like, draw or paint, and then after that, he's like, "Oh, I'm never painting or drawing again, and I'm gonna, like, go study math, and I'm gonna go into, like, some type of, like, science or mathy thing."
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good. Maybe he, like, entered a contest and didn't win, and then his dad said something along the lines of, like, "Well, yeah, like, of course your art isn't good enough." Not that your dad would say that. Something along the
My
lines
dad.
of, like, "It's okay." Well, hopefully his dad's not like that, but
Right.
something along the lines of, like, "It's okay that you lost, like, you were never gonna make a living as an artist anyway, like, it's okay
Yeah,
to have a hobby, but it's best to give this up as a dream for right now. I think you've really got to focus on STEM, whatever
yeah.
parents want you to do. This isn't going to be your career. This isn't going to be your life.
Okay,
Like
yeah,
you need to face facts of going to school for something that's going to make you money and something that you're going to be able to live off of. And then with your extra money, you can do this fun little hobby, but this isn't going to be your life.
exactly. Yeah, so I'm thinking, like, maybe he decided to become a scientist, and he's, like, he really likes disproving, like, stuff that seems, like, fantastical, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then that's, like, a big part of his, like, scientific mind or whatever.
Yeah. And I think that with this artistry at the end of the story, I think that he should start painting again. And like even though he and the girl are not together, he's like finding joy in his life again. And he'll become a person that like other people can love again.
I love that. Oh my god, I'm making him so three-dimensional. Before I'm just like, "He sucked. He was he was dissing his girlfriend because she's a witch," but now I feel for him.
Yeah. That does I hate to say that I often start to feel bad for the villain in these because I do give them too much personality, and I'm like, "Oh, no, I kinda like them." Like, even though they're bad. So I like this. I think so maybe some other little times that he has gotten rid of some magic in his life. Maybe a cousin was like really excited about like Santa Claus or whatever, or was
Mm,
starting to stop believing in Santa
yeah.
Claus. And they like ask him, and he's just like, yeah, of course that's not real. Instead of trying to keep the magic alive for that child.
No, I love that. I feel like that is a very realistic thing that, kids go through and, like, some kids wanting to kind of burst that bubble if they've already felt like the magic has gone from, like, their childhood type of thing. So, yeah,
Mhm.
I think that works.
Yeah. Can you think of any other like little magical moments that we can burst for him?
Okay. I don't know, like, maybe some type of, like, tradition, like, family tradition, like, maybe his mom going with her being an artist and, like, teaching him art, like, maybe there's something where she would say something about the type of art that she did that had kind of, like, a magical leaning to it. I'm trying to
Mhm.
think right now, and then him kinda being like, "Oh, that was totally fake," and I'm realizing that, like, she was just making that up, even though it was
Yeah.
inspiring for him artistically when he was younger. So something in
Yeah.
that vein.
I like that. I also think that we could pull in some like quote unquote magic, some like little magical moments that he has like stopped having in his life. So maybe he's not going home for the holidays. So he's not like seeing that joy, the like the magic of being around family, of being around
Yeah.
friends and seeing a smile on someone's face when you thought of them really deeply and they felt like so loved and moved. Because he's just not attending those events anymore. So just like more things where in the end, when he's bringing magic back into his life, he has a lot of ways to do that.
Yes, I do like that. So, like, yeah, not going home for the holidays. Maybe with like his ex, his like most recent witch ex or other people, he would might be like, oh, well, I don't really like reading fiction. I only like reading nonfiction because what's the point of reading fiction? It's all fake and what that type of thing.
Yes. No, you're 100% right. Yes, he would absolutely be the person who says that too. Yeah. I'm totally with you. Okay. So I think that we have done a good job of finding where he lost magic and bringing magic back into his life. How are we going to convince Granny to lift the spell that she put on him, the hex? Cuz he's gotten rid of all of his inner demons. Gotten rid of
Hmm.
is a strong word, but he has dealt with or begun the process of dealing with his inner demons around magic. But remember that Granny also put like a big spell on him.
Yes.
So we have to convince her that he deserves to not be hexed anymore.
Okay. I think I have an idea where I can bring back my like hexed MacGuffin objects. So maybe like
Yes.
when he went to visit his ex's family and saw the grandma there was maybe something that he like gave like a the ex's mom and grandma, like, oh, here are some flowers.
Mhm.
And she put a hex on that item, like the flowers, so it's tied to him because he bought them and it's for their family, right? And he's having bad feelings towards the ex and their family. So it really worked out in terms of like a MacGuffin thing. So you can see that it's like the flower is has been rotted, but it kind of slowly comes back to life. This is just like Beauty and the Beast, but whatever. That's the flower slowly coming back to life as he regains his like you know, childhood imagination and like, you know, love for magic and like realizing that like he shouldn't discount the things that his mom told him before she passed.
Yeah. Aw, I love that. Yeah, and I think that also I love when, like, magical realism brings back in that, like, there's also you, like, I don't know how to explain it, but, like, even if there's not something that's, like, capital M magic, there's lowercase m magic of, like, your
Hmm.
intentions towards other people have power kinda
Yeah.
thing. So I love that. So when he still bought those, how are we correcting that? Do we just throw away the flowers? Do we have to give, like, new flowers with new intention? How are we solving this problem?
I was thinking that like grandma took one of the flowers from the bouquet, she just snipped it and like put it in her pocket. And then that's how she did her little hex stuff. And she has it in a special little, basically like glass case.
It is Beauty
Beauty
and
and
the
the Beast.
Beast.
Yeah, yeah. If you can think of another thing that's not just like plagiarism, no, but
No, I love it.
because then, like, when she sees the flower, like, actually getting stronger, she's like, "Oh, he's learning his lesson. Okay, time to take the hex off now because
Oh,
he's getting
well,
it."
I like that. Yeah, that's cute. I also think that, like, that's Granny's way of looking out for her granddaughter who's, like, with this guy that kinda sucks. Because I don't know if she's told her family yet that she broke up with him, so
Yeah, yeah, I think that's just her way, and, like, we could tell the part where she's like, "I have no idea, like, what's going on," when asked by the grandfather. Yeah,
I love that. I love gaslighting grandma. That's
yeah,
that's so funny to me. Especially like witchy grandma who's hexing your boyfriend and you're like, "Man, I don't know what's going on, but he's just had the worst luck." And they're like, "That's crazy.
yeah,
You should check the grimoires, see if there's anything to help with that."
yeah, I think that's
I love
fun.
a mischievous grandmother. So
Same.
that's great. I love that. I Is there anything you want to add to our story? I feel like we've done a great job of bringing him full circle. We gave him a good plot, some backstory.
I think just the last thing is, like, maybe he could do something to, like, commemorate his mom's memory after he does go through these lessons. I don't know, maybe he does a painting for her or something like that. Think that'd be nice. And then maybe
Yeah,
connecting with his dad about it too and, like, you know, trying to, because maybe the dad was just, like, you know, so harsh and like, "Oh, you need to, like, put away all of your fanciful art dreams." And then when the dad sees the painting that he did for his mom, he, like, softens his heart a little bit.
I love this. I think this is wonderful. And I think that that, like, helps the dad heal too, because I'm sure the dad was all sad because his wife died, assuming
Yes.
they were married. But I think that that is so that's so sweet. Oh my god. And I also think that he should become a judge for the not the dad, our main guy.
Mhm.
He never got a name, but that guy should
It's okay.
become a judge
His name can literally
for
be Guy.
Guy. So Guy becomes a judge for that art contest that he lost as a child,
Mm,
not to like then win, but just to encourage other
yeah.
kids. Just to be like, yeah, maybe you didn't win, but you did such a great job and these are all the things that I loved and this is what maybe would have made the painting better, but you did so good.
I
Um
love that.
and get that encouragement that he wasn't really getting from his dad when he submitted. And then like he didn't win, but it was more of a failure than it needed to be for a
Mm,
child who still like put themselves out there.
yeah. I love that. Yeah, him being like judging an art contest and yeah, giving the kids the encouragement they need. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, either as a judge or like as a volunteer art teacher at an after school
Yeah.
program, just like somehow
Okay. Yeah.
giving back and being creative.
That's really fun. And yeah, even if he doesn't end up with his witch ex, maybe they're still friends. You know what I mean? And like
Yeah,
maybe she helps him with like his like both go to volunteer or helping some kids. Might be fun. I don't know.
I think a really fun way for her to still be involved is to also like be involved in the art class, but not like necessarily as art instructor, which she can be if she's an artist. We didn't really flesh her character out too much, but I think that any art that the kids do in this class that she's a part of will have like a little bit of magic in it. And so like
Love
maybe
that.
the painting looks a little different when you're really far away, or maybe there's like some movement that wouldn't
Yeah.
like it's yeah.
That's really fun. Oh my god, that's so cute. You are such a honestly, I need you around when I'm plotting my own book. This would be so help. Honestly.
Just send me an email, I'll do my best. But yeah, this it's great because I don't have to follow through with anything, which is my
Right.
big issue. Is that I do it here and then it's done and I don't have to write the book, which is the
I
harder
mean,
part.
yeah, this is the fun part, the brainstorming for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but actually, if we feel confident about this, I can start asking you some writing questions if you feel
Okay,
up
sure.
for it. What would you say is the hardest part of writing a book?
For me personally, I would say all of it. It's so crazy because like when I'm doing revisions, I'm like drafting's hard. And then when I'm doing drafting, I'm like, oh, I hate revisions. So whatever I'm like not doing, it's kind of very strange. Because like drafting, I feel like has gotten harder for me when I was young. So I first started writing, I wrote my first full novel when I was like 16 years old. And it was just pure joy at that time before it like
Hmm.
became a job. I wrote this kind of X-Men inspired romance little thingy about these.
Yeah.
It was really fun. And like, I would just write a chapter, print it off, and give it to my friends. And then we would all read it together and like talk about it. And then I would post it on like Kid Fiction Press, which is like archive of our own.
I
And it
am
was really,
familiar.
yeah, just for your listeners. Yeah. So it was a fun time. And like, I would get a lot of really great feedback. And it was just like, that's when I felt like, wow, okay, well, I just kind of like, drafting and like putting it out there. But then when I took writing seriously and I first started trying to like get an agent. This was like in 2020. And I was kind of like working from home in 2020. So I was able to kind of connect with a lot of writers on social media and make a lot of new friends and like kind of talk about their writing process. And that's when I was interviewing a couple of my writing friends about their process too. And during that, I was just like, okay, well, yeah, this is really fun. Like getting more into revision than I'd ever done previously, getting ready to like query agents and like going through that process was really fun. But right now, it's kind of a toss up. I would say my favorite part is actually just the brainstorming and then also like making mood boards and playlists. That honestly, like that's the most fun part. It's like getting into like the tougher stuff. It takes a lot of dedication and focus, but it's worth it.
And then who would you say is or are your writing inspirations?
One of my main ones is Courtney Summers, the author of Sadie, and
Mhm.
her first book, Cracked Up to Be. I remember the first time I picked it up in a bookstore when I was 16, and it was so formative because it was like very similar to the style that I was writing, and I was like thinking like, oh, well, what I'm writing, I can't actually submit because it's so dark sometimes and just like not of the time that I was like, writing. But it's kind of like, oh, you can be kind of just like very raw and honest about the teen experience, even if it's like really just like not pleasant for readers sometimes. So she really inspired me. So yeah, she's my fave.
Love her. And then what would you say is the book that you recommend to people the most?
The book I recommend to people most, it's cracked up to be by Courtney Summers. I used to work at a bookstore, and she should be paying me. It's kind of it's such I would like recommend her book. That's a big one. And then also I really love a lot of different like YA authors. Joya Goffney, Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry is one of my faves. And I love a lot of her books. So just a lot of like YA in that vein. And then I really love Nicola Yoon, all of her books. Yeah, definitely my faves that I recommend to everyone.
Do you have any advice for aspiring writers? And if not, what was the best advice that was given to you?
Sure. Okay. So some advice I have, and I feel like everyone says this, but like if you're working on a book, do not write to trends, write what you actually like and what you love. Because if you're writing to trends and you don't really have a full-hearted interest in it, it's very hard to continue because if you do happen to get an agent, if you do happen to get find a publisher, you're going to have to read your book like hundreds of times while you're going through that editing process. And if you're not enjoying it, it's really, really hard. It's hard when you
Mhm.
like it. So do what you actually love and like really find that interest and that passion for something that means something to you.
Great. And then you may have already answered this question. What is your all-time favorite book? Is it the Courtney Summers book?
Probably that. Like, I would say my favorite series, like growing up. I always mention this, and people are like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" The sci-fi like chapter book series for like 13-year-olds called Animorphs.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was one of my faves. Yeah, I have
I
reread
am
those.
familiar.
I've reread those books more than any books I've ever read in my life. And well, I guess it was just because the internet didn't exist yet. That's what was happening. Still, I really love those books a lot.
How do you feel about shifter books, like shifter romance or shifter books in general? Because I think that Animorph kids love shifter books, and I love
Yeah,
shifter books.
I mean, I guess it was kind of, yeah, in that same vein of like, you know, I love those. I was also like deeply into Twilight and like werewolves and all that stuff. And I don't think I've read too many like other stuff other than like werewolf stuff, but I
Mhm.
think it's really fun. I love just the intense pressure that the kids in the Animorph series were under. It's like, we're 13, but there's a secret invasion and we have to solve it for some reason. And so I just loved how intense those books were. And then also, I found her writing, there's some like light moments where it was very cute and there was some humor in it. And I always appreciate that.
Yeah. If you're looking for non-werewolf shifter books, I do recommend Nalini Singh's Side Changeling series. It is like crazy. There's so much happening and there is like overarching mystery and overarching politics, but some of them are wolf shifters. Most of them are cats or bears, or there are also
Mm,
ocean shifters. There's like all
okay.
kinds of stuff. And she has this like she did an amazing job building that world. Love Nalini.
Okay. Definitely going to put that on my list. I love that.
What was the last book that you rated 5 stars? And if you don't rate books, what was the last one you read that you can't stop thinking about?
Okay. I don't do ratings, but one that I really like and I can't stop thinking about is like, I have to admit, I read very selectively and a lot of the time it is for research. So I don't really read for fun as quite as much as I did when I was younger. But I read this book called Finding Her Edge by Jennifer Acapelli. And it is a figure skating book because I'm currently working on my third book that's coming out next year called Spiraling Out. And it is about professional figure skaters. And so I read this book and like, this is like a pairs figure skating romance type of thing. And it is so juicy that I could just like see it on the big screen. And recently it's been picked up as a Netflix series. So super
Oh,
excited.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm so emo because Netflix finally realized that password sharing was still allowed on Apple Plus or Apple TV. And so they took it away. And now I don't have Netflix anymore.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah.
Maybe I'll pay for it. Probably won't. And what book are you most looking forward to coming out in the next year or so?
My friend Alima Tony, she has a book coming out, and it's kind of like, I'm forgetting the name right now, but it's kind of like Knives Out meets Dead Poets. I think she pitched it as that, where these kids are like they get into a university and like a prof has a party, but they pass away, and they're like, oh wait, I'm not going to give my inheritance to my kids. I'm going to give it to my students, and you're going to fight for it right now. And it's really fun because I actually love a good mystery.
Me
Um,
too.
so That's one. Winners and Liars comes out next year.
That sounds great. I love that. Is there any other book or series that you want to give us a shout out for before we finish off our episode?
Yes, there is one final one. This is nonfiction. It's called Safekeeping by Shailene Knight. And it's kind of like a guide for writers who are like new to the industry or like, career, and talking a little bit about how to navigate the writing side and then the business side of being a writer, and how to protect your peace in terms of just like not getting too caught up in like, the social media aspect, and like being able to know what like success means for you personally and how that can mean different things for different people. And it's kind of like a workbook style where you can kind of like fill in stuff. So it's definitely been very helpful for me.
Great. I love that. So that was If It Was a Book. If you liked what you heard, feel free to drop us a rating or review telling us what you liked or what you want to see in future episodes. If you would like to submit a story for the chance to have it rewritten by one of our guests, you can do so by emailing your memory to ifitwasabook@gmail.com. You can follow the podcast on Instagram and TikTok at If It Was a Book. You can follow me, the host, at wickedreads on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Maya, where can listeners and readers find you?
You can find me all the places at Maya Ameyaw, and that's it. No spaces or commas or whatever.
And then I will have a link for Maya's books in the show notes where you can purchase them. We also have a website now. Very exciting. Come to my website. All you can do is watch the video episodes and listen to the podcast. But maybe someday I'll have merch. But that day is not today. I don't have that right now. The episode is out now on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks for listening. Bye.